One of the most interesting things to me about this particular topic with regards to the Jews and the myth that they control this and they control that, banking, they control finance, they control government, they control politics, they control media, they blah, 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 they control everything. The most interesting thing to me about it isn't that people have come up with this, because we know already that the West has been saying this kind of thing. And we know obviously where this kind of thing leads, where it has led in the West time and time and time again. Hitler wasn't a one-off. You should understand that. The Nazis weren't a one-off. This wasn't a dear Lord, how could this ever have happened? It happened repeatedly. This isn't, this is part of the game that they play about themselves, that the lie that they tell about themselves, that Hitler was some kind of an anomaly. Hitler was not an anomaly in any way, shape, or form.
In Western history.
In Western history, in European history. No, he's absolutely a son of Europe.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Now looking at what is happening in Gaza, many have asked themselves, why are we not having immediate response against Israel? Because we are looking at how Israeli forces are handling children in Gaza, disabled people, women, and vulnerable old people. They are not being treated well, and some of them are starving to death. Yet, Israel continued bombarding them. Israel continues to really show that these people do not deserve living. In fact, Prime Minister Netanyahu is even proposing hostage or even takeover of Gaza and having total control of it. This is unwelcomed. Why is no one responding positively towards the cries and the plight of people in Gaza? In today's video, we are going to talk about the perceptions and the myths that people have had about the Jews and how they control systems, governance systems, banking systems, and many other systems in the world. In this video, Shahid Bolsen is going to explain the deep intricacies that tie Jews and the lies that many people have believed over how these people control the world. Take a listen to this, then we shall talk in the end.
And not a bastard. He's an absolute, he's the heir apparent of Europe. As you can see now, they haven't stopped. They never gave up with this. You know, you're supporting Ukraine now with their Nazis, with their Nazi flags, with their Nazi calls, their Heil Hitler, and you've got it in America, in the country that supposedly defeated the Nazis. You're full of neo-Nazis. You got your president doing the Nazi salute. So this is not an anomaly.
Yeah.
And you're not fooling anybody. We know exactly this is a very consistent thing with you.
Yeah.
So it's not strange to me that they came up with this. But the most interesting thing to me about it is how passionately people believe it, how passionately they defend it, how deeply invested they are in believing it and maintaining it. And when you tell them facts and data that demolish this myth, it's like you took away their security blanket. They're like a child, who you took away their favorite toy. That they, it's like you not letting them suck their thumb anymore. They get so upset, they're just like, they go immediately to violence.
Yeah.
They go immediately to viciousness. They go immediately to insult and slander, and like it's a personal attack on them to tell them that the Jews don't control the world.
Yeah.
You are very invested in the idea that the Jews are the most powerful nation on earth. It's very strange, and you should understand that if this is a fact-based opinion that you have, and you're on solid ground, you will never react that way. You will never react so emotionally, so histrionically, to being introduced to facts and data that debunk what you're saying. Your reaction is never going to be like this. Your outrage doesn't refute the facts and the data and the reality. Your outrage convicts you in the falsehood of your belief. It's a very emotional, personal response from people who, for whatever, this is how you know this isn't rational, it's not reasonable, it's not logical. It's very, very deeply personal for people to believe that the Jews are the ones. And I think that you have to look at different types of people who believe this, who choose to believe this, in spite of actual logic, sense, rationality, reason, and factual reality. People who choose to believe this, to try to understand what is, frankly, psychologically, intellectually, emotionally wrong with you, that is causing you to be, that is causing this belief to be some kind of medication for you. This is some kind of a medication that you're taking that is enabling you to face the world by believing this. That's why you react so vehemently, so violently when this false belief gets challenged. It's like I've insulted your mother when I say that the Jews don't run the world. Question yourself why you feel that way. Why you take it so personally? I mean, are you a Jew? Are you Jewish? A Jew who has been raised to believe that they control the world, and then I want to tell you that you don't. You take it very personally. The truth is, you're not invested in believing that the Jews control everything. You're invested in believing that the Jews are the only evil people, and that you are not evil, despite all of the evidence that we have, despite all of the historical evidence that we have, the endless litany of atrocities that you and your people have committed in the West, the Europeans have committed. You don't want to take responsibility for any of that. You want us to believe just like the perfect example is with this Epstein business. You make it sound like these senators and these congressmen and these business people and these investors and these professionals and these elites. You want to make it sound like they're victims. You want to make it sound like they're victims for committing sexual assault on children on an island. They were tricked into it. Could you be tricked into it?
This is like narrative engineering.
Could you be coerced? Could you be tricked into it? And the crime is that it was on video.
Yeah.
That's the crime. You know, it's the epitome of why you do this, because you're the one who went to the island. You're the one who's the pedophile. You're the one who assaulted a child. You want the Jew to be to blame for what you just did. This is in microcosm. Everything that this is the epitome of the history of the Western relationship with the Jews.
Yeah.
I posted a picture of the signatures on the Constitution of the United States. And I said, this is the original Epstein list. Because the 13 colonies were the original Epstein Island. That was the original Epstein Island. But maybe that doesn't count for you because the victims on that Epstein Island were all African slaves. You know, Thomas Jefferson, everyone knows Thomas Jefferson had a relationship that they romanticized with his slave. Did you know she was 14? He was in his 40s. She was 13 or 14 years old, maybe younger. This is your Thomas Jefferson. This is your founding father. And like father, like son. You trying to act like this is some, again, same way you try to act like Hitler was an anomaly. You try to act like every time some evil comes, whether it's an anomaly or they got tricked into it. Well, come on, who are you trying to fool? I mean, in fact, it even goes all the way back to the origin of calling the Jews Christ killers.
Yes.
The Romans did that. That was the Romans. The Jews weren't in charge, but you put that off on the Jews too. Now again, see, and then the reaction is, Shahid, why are you defending the Jews? Who said I'm defending the Jews? I didn't say that they don't do evil. I'm just saying they're not the only ones who do evil, and they're not the top ones. They don't have the most power, but you're trying to deflect from the ones who have the most power, who have the worst criminal record in history. You know, just because I say that the Jews are an accomplice and not the crime boss, that doesn't mean I'm defending the Jews. The Jews were under us the entirety of our history. The entirety. They were under us in Medina, and they were under us ever since.
Yes.
They never ran us.
No.
They never put us in a problem that we couldn't handle. They knew their place and we handled it. So we know, see, you can't fool us.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. You can't fool us. We know the history. We know what they're capable of and what they're not capable of. And we know that if you're righteous, they can't do anything to you. They can't get you into this or that compromising position. You did that yourself. It's not their fault that you're a pervert. It's not their fault that you dehumanize other human beings. It's not their fault that you can't control your lusts. It's not their fault, that you are what you are. They didn't make you pirates. They didn't make you rapists. They didn't make you pillagers and plunderers and colonizers. They didn't make you do that. You were that, and they participated in the profit making. Yeah. So because why wouldn't they? Yeah. They don't have a higher level of morality than you do. Kufar's kufar. The Western so-called civilization. You're evil. This is in your character. Evil is in your character because of your culture. Don't misunderstand. And I've clarified this many times. This isn't racial. That's not even a thing. It's not genetics.
Yeah.
This is your cultural background. This is what you inherited over time, over hundreds, if not thousands of years. This is how you became. We could overlook it. We could pardon it if it was a slip.
Right.
But it's not a slip.
Yeah, it's
This
internal.
is absolutely a feature. It's not a bug. I mean, don't you? This is the question. Don't you want to know how the system works? Don't you want to actually know how the system works? And the problem is that you have made an assumption about how the system works, and that assumption satisfies you for reasons other than your interest in the truth. It satisfies you for some kind of psychological reasons, for some kind of emotional reasons, for some kind of personal reasons. And that's why you have an emotional reaction when it is disproven. Because if you have a theory, say, about who's in charge, and your only motive, your only driver is that you genuinely want to know what the truth is, then when someone comes to you with information that causes you to change your hypothesis, you welcome that, because all you want to do is be right. All you want to do is be truthful. You want to be accurate. You know, you won't react like you've been personally attacked.
Not at all.
Except that, like I said, this is your security blanket.
By not wanting to know the truth, it plays perfectly into the OCGFC's hand.
Precisely. I mean, this has been one of the most useful things for the OCGFC, and this is one of the reasons why they developed where they developed, which is in America. This is where they developed. No, excuse me. Obviously, there's a whole history of private sector power. You can and the blending of private sector power with government, like the East India Company, the British East India Company, the Dutch, and so on. But the unique elements of the current modern version of OCGFC developed in America, and the American system was perfect for them because of the illusion of democracy already has everyone looking the wrong direction for where power is. It already has, you already live in a system that is literally sustained by deception and lying to the public. It's literally sustained by that. This isn't hyperbole. I'm not just trying to talk rhetoric here. I mean, functionally, logistically, the power structure in America operates by sustained lies and deception and misdirection. So this provided a perfect situation for the rise of the OCGFC, because everyone is always looking over there for what power is and where power is and who power is. So that allows the OCGFC to operate in the shadows. Although it's not in the shadows, it's just not where you're looking. There's plenty of light, but you're just not looking there because they've got you looking over here. And so this is one of the reasons why people who maybe I'll sort of offer an olive branch to the people who are clinging to the idea of the Jews. The system is opaque. The system is complex. The system is hard to understand, it's complicated, it's confusing. And people want to be able to operate in the world with some kind of an understanding. People don't want to operate in the world like they're just blind and they have no idea what's going on. So you come up with ways to make it make sense to you. But you're not capable of basing that hypothesis on researched reality. So you follow your intuition, say, which ends up just being following your own biases. So when you disprove that theory, it shatters their whole, what they have built that enables them to even move around and function in the world in a way that makes the world make sense. So on one level, that's why you have this very emotional personal reaction. But either way, I mean, grow up. This is how it is. If you can't actually operate in the world on the basis of truth, on the basis of reality, on the basis of facts, then withdraw from public discourse.
Of course, yeah.
You know, and I've said it a million times. You don't have to engage in politics. You don't have to have an opinion. You don't have to be involved. This is not required of you. If it's beyond your God-given capacities, then there's no need for you to be involved in it. There's no blame on you for not being involved in it. Just live your life.
If the Jews are not in control,
Mm.
why the world can't stop Gaza suffering?
You see, you're assuming that everyone is moral except for the Jews, and that therefore everyone is being morally oppressed by the all-powerful Jews that are preventing everyone else from acting morally. Who told you they want to? Who told you that all of these other actors are interested in acting morally? They're not. America is not interested in acting morally. Europe is not interested in acting morally. This isn't something that has anything to do with the Jews. It has to do with, like I said, it's your own culture. It's your own belief system. It's your own history that shows what your culture and your belief system is, which is that morality has never mattered to you. Suffering has never been a bar on you proceeding
Yeah,
with any agenda, any action.
it doesn't matter to you.
Yeah, why didn't they stop slavery 400 years earlier? You know, why did they do everything that they've done? Why didn't they stop the genocide of the Native Americans? Because they got something out of it, and they're getting something out of this.
It's not because there was
You have
moral
to,
imperative.
yeah, you have to understand morality is not a driver in policy. Power acquisition, power consolidation is. Profit maximization is. This is what drives policy. Because this is the system that you made. And this is the other thing I want to clarify. The system didn't make you like this. You made the system like this because you're like this. This is why I said you can be actually capitalist in our last one. You can be capitalist and not materialistic, but you can't do that in the West because you're already materialistic.
Yeah.
So your approach to business is according to the way you already are. The system that you built was built according to your own parameters of your own character.
What will America become if it will stop being a global power?
A regional power.
Yeah.
It already is functionally a regional power. It just hasn't quite completely accepted that fact yet.
Yeah.
Or there are factions inside of America who haven't completely accepted the fact that they are, at
No
this point, a
longer
regional
monolith.
power.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this before anyway, but their status as a global hegemon was never achieved by merit. It was never achieved by through competition. This is against their historical narrative. But America didn't become a global hegemon by defeating everyone else. Everyone else who was a hegemon fell apart. And America was just the last man standing, not because they defeated everyone else, but everyone else got tired. Everyone else collapsed from their own weight, and that's the same thing that's happening to America. But by all rights, America is supposed to just be a regional power. And that's what they will recede into being. What they believe in is power. What they believe in is exploitation. What they believe in is material acquisition, period. Full stop. Everything else are rationales that they use to achieve that. Everything else, every other so-called belief that they pretend to have is just for that purpose. It's just some kind of a rationale for that purpose, to appeal to give them some kind of a justification that has some relationship to depth of principle or depth of ideals. Whether we're talking about positive ideals or negative ideals, you know, whether you're talking about neo-Nazis or you're talking about woke or what have you. They don't believe any of that. None of them believe any of that. Their belief in the marrow of their bones is power consolidation and material acquisition of resources. They're not deeper than that. That's as deep as they go. Everything else is just decorating that very core primitive reality. Here's an example. There's a recent thing going on that you probably are aware of if you speak English and if you consume any media at all. There's this American Eagle ad campaign for their jeans. with this Sydney Sweeney,
Okay.
right? And there's this huge controversy because the ad is seen as a dog whistle for eugenics and white supremacy.
Right.
Okay. The company, American Eagle, does not care about any of that. But they know that you people will argue about it. They know that you will start talking about it. They know that there's people out there who use eugenics, who use white supremacy as their rationale
Well, that's a pretty.
for the way that they decide to act in the world,
Yeah.
for the inhuman way that they decide to act in the world. And then there's the ones who are on the other side who use this particular rationale for the way that they operate in the world. When both of them are operating in the world the same way, and the one who is getting them to argue is operating in the world the same way by using
Your,
beliefs and ideals and morals and principles and what have you, just as a way to make money. This is all that that's about. Their stock went up like $400 million off of the back of those ads.
free
Mission
access,
accomplished.
yeah.
That's all they care about. If you think that American Eagle is trying to push eugenics and white supremacy, you're crazy. They're trying to push their stock price up. That's all they're trying to do. Financialization. They're trying to make money, and they're making fools of you. And the same thing is true of whenever you see any Westerner on the right or the left arguing about anything. They're just trying to make fools of you by making you think that they believe anything that they're saying. They don't believe any of this. They believe in power acquisition, consolidation, and acquisition of material resources. Full stop. That's it. That's as far as they go. That's as deep as they go. And they will use any and all rhetoric, any and all ideologies in service to that, and to decorate that and to make it look prettier than it is. So I'm saying they don't care. This is how much contempt they have for belief in anything. This is how nihilistic they are. That white supremacy is a horrifically inhuman, dangerous, violent ideology. But that's fine. We can trigger that because there's money in there. There's money to be made.
Yeah,
So that's fine.
this will be free advertising by way of
Yeah,
arguments.
because for sure, if we put that out there, there's going to be a whole cohort of people who will recognize the eugenics aspect in the wordplay about what's her name has good genes or whatnot.
Right.
So obviously, we'll be able to start a controversy. We'll be able to I mean, who even remembered that that's a company that exists? Now everybody knows it.
Yep.
You know, and they got hundreds of millions of dollars in free advertising, in free name dropping, all across the media, all across social media, free marketing, and their stock went up. Mission accomplished. This is how cynical they are about morals and so on. You have to get up to speed. We really have, we as a people, and I'm not even just talking about the Muslims. The Muslims, we all have to get up to speed, brothers and sisters. We have to get up to speed because things are moving very fast. And if we're moving into the future, if we're moving into the second half of the 21st century, and we're still kicking around ideas like, oh, the Jews control this, the Jews control that, the Illuminati, the Masons, and what have you, and you still haven't understood the basics of power dynamics, you're going to get left behind. We're going to get left behind because things are moving very fast. And what we should be talking about is what's coming next. But we spend so much time just trying to get ourselves up to speed about what is now that we can't even start talking about what's coming next because we have a lot of challenges upcoming. The how this transition is going to play out and what we need to do on our side, what our leaders need to do, what our private sector leaders and our governmental leaders and our rulers and our populations, what we need to do to try to manage this transition in a way that is beneficial for us. Because the OCGFC are predators. I've said it 1,000 times. The OCGFC are predators. They're never going to stop being predators. They're never going to stop being the way they are because, again, the system didn't make them. They are this way, and that's why the system is the way it is, because they are this way. That's why they are. That's what their character is. That's what their culture is. Their instinct and their driver is always going to be to dominate and exploit and dehumanize and take and pillage That's always their go-to reflex, their go-to instinct. And we're moving in this transition where all of those powers, all of the powers of the A National OCGFC, their centers of power, the center of gravity of the global economy is moving from the West into our part of the world. It's moving into the global South. It's moving into the East. It's moving into the Middle East, so-called. It's moving into the Gulf. It's going to be moving into Bilad al-Sham. We have to navigate that. We have to manage that in a way that is that, we're dealing with incredibly dangerous factors here, incredibly dangerous dynamics, incredibly dangerous actors. And if we're not up to speed, we're not going to be able to sort out the way moving forward.
Yeah.
We're very far behind, wallahi, and I'm sorry to say it, but we're very far behind in our understanding. And we must get up to speed and put these kinds of really ridiculous, absurd, unserious topics and discussions and paradigms behind us, because this has no place among any refined and sophisticated and serious and intelligent people who want to have a role in trying to shape the future for not just for the ummah, but for the whole world, because the way that the whole world is going to go is going to depend upon how this transition is managed.
What a great commentary by Shahid Bolsen. He has always spoken his mind, he has always spoken without fear, and he knows how to really handle these issues that affect the world and the globe as it is. When it comes to global geopolitics, he is a go-to person, because looking at how he gives his snippets of ideas, you'd be amazed to a greater extent by how he has grasped a lot of issues that are currently affecting the world in many, many different ways. In the video, Shahid Bolsen delivers a sharp critique of Western conspiracy theories, particularly the anti-Semitic trope that Jews control global banking, finance, media, and politics. He argues that this belief is not only factually baseless, but also serves as a psychological crutch for those seeking simple explanations for complex global power dynamics. Bolsen asserts that the narrative distracts from identifying the true centers of power, which he refers to as the owners and controllers of global financialized capital, OCGFC, a nebulous group of national elites who operate beyond ethnic or religious affiliations. He emphasizes that scapegoating Jews is intellectually lazy and plays into the hands of those who benefit from this misdirection. Bolsen further explores how the West uses such myths to obscure its own historical and ongoing crimes, including those tied to the global financial systems and geopolitical strategies. He connects this to crucial pathologies in the West, referencing figures like Jeffrey Epstein to highlight how elite networks, not ethnic groups, perpetuate systemic corruption. By framing issues in moral terms, he argues the West avoids accountability for its actions, as these narratives are irrelevant to the amoral operations of global power structures. Bolsen insists that the focus on Jewish conspiracies is a deliberate diversion that prevents people from understanding the structural mechanism of control widened by the OCGFC. He calls for a more mature and disciplined approach to political analysis, particularly more Muslims, urging them to move beyond childish myths and grasp the real dynamics of 21st century power. Bolsen stresses that the OCGFC thrives in the shadows of public misdirection, exploiting simplistic scapegoating to maintain its dominance. He warns that failing to identify the correct enemy, global financial elites rather than ethnic or religious groups, hinders effective resistance against systemic tyranny. This point is underscored by his demand for intellectual clarity and responsibility in political thought. Overall, Bolsen's commentary is a provocative call to action, challenging viewers to abandon emotionally satisfying but misleading narratives and focus on the intricate, often hidden structures of the global power. He frames his argument as a demand for intellectual rigor, not a defense of any group, and emphasizes the need for collective purpose and strategic thinking to confront the true forces shaping the world. So if you look at how Shahid Bolsen speaks in this video, it really ties to the question as to why is no one responding to the challenges that people are really having in Gaza. Why do I say so? If you look at the myth that most people have always peddled around, we have always been told that Israel cannot be confronted because most Jews are the ones who are controlling the financial systems of the world. They're the ones who control the global geopolitics, and therefore there is nothing that can be done to them. They are untouchable. But according to Bolsen, he thinks this is a lie and it is a fallacy by most political analysts. He has positioned himself as somebody who is ready to really explain the deep intricacies of how global political strategies have always hid themselves behind such narratives as to how Israel and Jews control the global politics and the global power. Share your thoughts down in the comment section. And if you're watching us for the first time, please remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share. Thank you, and let's meet on the next one.